Hello everyone, welcome back to Newcastle Fans TV. Newcastle are through to the third round of the Carabao Cup after a fantastic 1-0 win over Blackburn Rovers in the Alan Shearer derby. It's the group reaction. We've had scoring the players with me, Sam and Carl, so make sure you give that video a watch before you get to this one. See if you agree with mine, Sam, and Carl's player ratings from tonight's match. What did you think of the Joelinton's performance? I'm sure the lads will have a few comments about that as well. I'm joined with Sam, Adam and Liam. Well, where do we start with this game? Adam, I'll let you kick it off. 10 changes from Steve Bruce. Javier Manquillo was the only player that managed to keep his place from Saturday night. How did you rate Steve Bruce's starting 11? Were you happy with it?
Well, when I seen it, it was expected. I think he said he was going to ring the changes in. Good to see Clark getting some minutes, Longstaff, Richie, Almiron. It was a team I expected. It was a team I expected to go and beat Blackburn comfortably. It didn't work out like that. We beat them, but certainly not comfortably. But it's minutes in the legs. It's not going to be our starting 11. We all know that. We could be super critical and say, yeah, Blackburn were the better team, which arguably they were, but we still got the result at the end of the day. This time last year, we probably wouldn't have. It was Almiron and Fraser. It was a great goal. Anyone who did watch it, it was an absolutely brilliant through ball from Almiron, a great finish by Fraser on his debut. Yeah, it was a tough game to watch. I paid the £10. It was, I wish I could have the £10 back, but we got there. We're in the third round. We've got another winnable game. Got to remain positive this season. Whether it was a great game or not, we've got to stay positive, get behind the manager. So yeah, good win. They're hard to watch, but it's Newcastle. Now it's ever easy.
Of course, now it's never easy. So Sam, when Blackburn start off the better of the two sides, and Lewis Holtby has that chance that just goes past Gillespie's post. We'll touch about Gillespie's performance as well, as it was his first proper debut for the Newcastle first team. But Sam, Blackburn were really the dominant team for the first 20 minutes, in my opinion, and it took Newcastle a little bit of a while to kind of get into the game.
They were dominant for pretty much the whole 90 minutes, never mind the first 20. But before the game, if you'd have said 10 changes made, minutes in the legs, like Adam says, and you still get the win, that's all that matters in a cup game. Blackburn were concerning, and I think, as I mentioned in scoring the players earlier, I think they will be kicking themselves about not starting Armstrong, because for them that game was for the taking, in a sense that they had a lot of possession, but didn't really do enough with it. Didn't really have enough cutting edge. Brereton just, looks like he's punching above his weight in the championship. So he could have done better with his chances today. Although Clark put in one cracking tackle on him, and Murphy did right at the end. They'll feel aggrieved that they didn't at least force it to a penalty shootout. But from our point of view, who cares? It's another win, 2 wins out of 2 for the season. We're on another cup run, a trip to Morecambe now, which is on paper another winnable tie. So who knows? It's good just to get the win. It's a relief.
Yeah, it is a big relief for Steve Bruce's side. But Liam, it's 2 wins out of 2. But I want to touch about the centre midfield partnership. It's 2 local lads, Sean Longstaff and Dan Barlaser. Me and Sam were slightly critical of both of them, really, because it was kind of both of them a big opportunity for them to really showcase what they're all about. In particular, Dan Barlaser, as you can see on the screen, to kind of go, right, this is my stage. I want to try and get into the starting 11. I thought he had a slightly better game than Sean. But Liam, what did you make of both of their performances throughout the whole game? You still there, Liam? Liam's not with us. So we'll continue with Adam. Adam, what did you make of Dan Barlaser and Sean Longstaff in the centre of the park?
I agree with you, Johnny. I think Barlaser was better, a bit better. Longstaff really disappointed me today, to be honest. I expected a lot more from him. He's really going to struggle, Sean. And to be fair, Matty, unless they up the game, I know Matty hasn't played yet, but Sean's really going to struggle unless he ups his game to get in the start 11. Did he break into the Newcastle team too soon? A couple of years ago, possibly. Everyone's got big expectations of him. It's just not. I don't know if the end of last season today is it going to work. He's just got to step up that bit. There's no one wants to see him do better than all of us. we all support the team. We all want to see him, boss that midfield. He's just is he near Hayden or Shelvey or Hendrick now getting in that centre midfield? He's behind all them for me. But if Liam's back now, I'll let him go on about Barzela if you like.
Yeah, Liam, let's get you on this debate. Obviously, you've just come back to this stream after getting yourself a drink by the look of it. What did you make? What did you make of Barlaser and Longstaff? Adams basically said that they're right down the pecking order to get into the centre midfield battle. Really, where do you see it?
Yeah, if I'm being honest, I don't think Sean is actually a centre midfield player. I think he's more of an attacking midfielder player. And I think Daniel Barlaser he's down the pecking order because I think he's inexperienced at like that sort of level. Because I think the highest he's played to League One. So I think he's just young and fresh. But Sean's been kicking around the Premier League for like the last 2 seasons. I think he needs to start improving. Like. I don't know whether he just had that one good season and then he's just went apart. But we probably should have sold him for 50 million at Man U, to be fair.
That would be an interesting move.
Yeah, would you take 50 million for him now if he was at that level? Do you know what I mean? Would he even bid 50 million? Is the point?
No, I think a lot of people would probably go, yeah, we'll take that right now. But Sam, let's talk about Ryan Fraser. It was his first start for Newcastle after that move from, he was a free agent, but obviously he was at Bournemouth for a few years, and obviously getting the goal on his debut. He was always a nuisance to Blackburn's defence, I thought, throughout the first hour of the game which he played. But that goal will give him a lot of confidence. But Miguel Almiron's assist for the goal was absolutely brilliant, wasn't it?
It was about as X-rated as Liam's dressing gown. Considering Fraser hasn't played a game since March, I thought he looked electric in that first half. Looked a real live wire. Looked tenacious. Looked fantastic. I mean, to get him on a free, although his wages and probably agent fees were through the roof and whatnot, but 12 months ago you'd have had to have paid 35 million for him. So as the season goes on, hopefully he's going to look a real asset. And I thought him and Almiron were the difference between winning and losing today. They were the only ones that really provided a real solid outlet. Joelinton, you may as well have. I don't know. I'd sooner see Ciaran Clark up front than Joelinton. I just don't know what you do with him now. It's mad. I mean, on your previous point about Longstaff, confirms to me he's a number 10, as Liam said. Completely agree with that. Fraser, fantastic on the wing. Almiron, typical positive Mickey performance, hard working, busy, and that pass for the assist was just pure filth. It was the only thing that was worth paying £10 for that game for, wasn't it?
Exactly. Adam, Almiron, was he the best player on the pitch for you today? Him or
Fraser when he was on 60 minutes. They're the two who look, if you're starting 11 compared to what we had Saturday, they're the two who were pushing to get in it. Almiron, he got the assist on Saturday as well, don't forget, for the Hendrick goal. He got a lot of criticism last year for not scoring, not assisting goals. That's 2 games, 2 assists. What more can you, he's looking a bit more positive. Was he great today? He wasn't brilliant, but he was probably the most positive player on the pitch. I think Almiron just needs a confidence player. If he can keep getting assists, and I think Bruce is learning a bit more how to manage him. If he has to sit him out the odd game, because he was our record signing for a bit, and then he played every game. There's a lot of pressure on his shoulders for a young lad. So I think Bruce is managing him well. More confidence he gets, the better he'll get for us.
Yeah, for sure.
Can I ask you a quick question, Adam? Do you feel like he's improved since Fraser's came in and since he's got some actual competition?
I mean, it's only been a week or 2, but he needs a competition because he's been the first name on the team sheet, really, because there's been no one else. There's only been Atsu, or there's been no one else. So he needs a competition, and hopefully he'll step his game up.
And what that could do is that enables now for Bruce to manage his squad better, which was always a criticism towards the back end of last season, we always wanted him to manage his squad better and, chuck Lazaro in or take Miggy out for a game, take ASM out for a game. But now you can't argue with the fact there's a real creditable option there. Real squad depth for the first time in years now. So Bruce has no excuses now to get that squad management spot on.
Does anybody start Fraser or Almiron on Sunday against Brighton? Because they were the two that you go, yeah, they were probably the two brightest sparks in terms of attacking threats going forward for Newcastle at night. Does any of them start? I don't know. I'll throw it out to any of you if anyone wants to jump in, but for me, they still don't. I would still rather start with the 11 that we had against West Ham.
Yeah, it has to be unchanged for me, just simply because of the job we did against West Ham. Yeah, I wouldn't change the team for Sunday. Sorry.
Liam,
I think as well, I would agree with what I'm saying, but with them two on the bench, you've got if we're about chasing the game, you've got two very quick players, and I think the thing with Wilson is the thing with Fraser is he knows where Callum Wilson is. So if we need a goal, that's probably going to be that's going to most provide it for you. But I would just keep everything the same. I don't think you could drop Hendricks for Miggy or Hendricks for Fraser because he scored and he had a decent game on Saturday.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously Newcastle ended the half pretty strong. Blackburn had their moments, but Newcastle were pretty comfortable from when they scored till half time. 1-0, second half, Joelinton, we have to talk about him, Sam. He just doesn't have the rub of the green. He's just not a number 9. What do we do with Joelinton? Because we're in a bit of a situation now that there are about 5 or 6 players minimum in front of him, in my opinion. Does Bruce persevere with him, or while the transfer window is still open, Sam, does he try and get him out on loan where he maybe can get a bit of game time and try and regain some sort of confidence in his game?
Well, when everyone's fit, he's arguably 4th choice striker now. That's the reality of the situation, is it? Because Wilson's obviously number 1, and Wilson's shown how Joelinton should have been playing all last season, running the channels, trying to stay more within the confines of the box and not getting pulled out so wide. I don't know where to start with him. This was his chance tonight, and we just looked completely blunt up top. No excuse to be offside for his, albeit well taken goal, but you're looking across the line there. You shouldn't be getting offside. You just shouldn't. It's really concerning. What do you do? If Matt Ritchie goes, is Joelinton Matt Ritchie's replacement for a left winger, and then you try and bring in another striker? Because let's face it, if Wilson gets injured, we are buggered because you can't rely on Carroll's fitness. I mean, it'd be great if you could, because as Bruce said and as we saw on Saturday, a fully fit Andy Carroll is a threat to anyone. But we just haven't seen it for the past 5 years, maybe even longer than that, you could argue. And Gale's obviously recent years, his injury record's not much better, and his record's great in the Championship, but not great in the Premier League. So if Wilson doesn't stay fit, or if Wilson picks up a knock here and there, we're in real trouble, because look at how we played tonight. It was the same as last season. We just had nothing up front. There was no outlet. There was just zero. It was Bambi, like that chance where he almost got through, but then he couldn't quite stay on his feet, and he looked like Bambi. I bet you many people who watched that were screaming, "Stay on your feet," or something along those lines. It's just, will it be different? Will it be different if he played up front with Wilson, kind of like what Carroll did with him? Possibly. I think that's worth a go. I think you have to try that at some point this season, and you probably will find that will get a go at some point because of Carroll's fitness. But it's a real problem now. I know, Johnny, you said you'd have sold him. No one's going to want him.
Would you sell him?
No, not yet. But I wouldn't be playing him up front anymore. Would not be playing him up front anymore at all. after we give him a go in a front two with Wilson. Let's see how that goes. I'm not expecting a miracle. If it's a similar result than what it's been before, then that's it. You cannot be playing him up front again.
Go on, Liam. What are you going to say on this argument?
Could it not be like you put Maximin up front with Wilson and then Joelinton on the wing?
He look like a £40 million striker, doesn't he?
Because didn't he not play well when he played on the wing? That game where Gale played up top, but then Gale got injured and like pretty much straight away, and then the system just changed. So I just think he wasn't a striker at Hoffenheim. So why we're trying to make him a striker here? He's clearly not a striker after last season. He scored 2 goals in 38 games. So why not just try and play him on the wing?
It's a fair point. And like we've all said, I've said he's probably better on the left, but I think we could have a whole show on trying to solve the mystery of Joelinton, and we haven't got that long. We've got Morecambe next week and Brighton on Sunday, so that tells you how long we could talk about this. But Adam, let's talk about Mark Gillespie, because he had a double save in the second half where it really kept us in the game. Blackburn were kind of attacking, but without any real threat. But that was probably their first real threat of the second half. They had obviously corners as well, and crosses, which he dealt with really well. I thought he commanded his area really well throughout the game. But that double save would have given him a real boost, because the first save was a comfortable save. The second one, he was up quick and saved it well with his foot. But for someone that was really desperate to play for Newcastle, obviously released after so many years at the club as a youngster, it's probably a small dream come true, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. It's difficult as a goalkeeper to play in a game like that, because considering the amount of possession Blackburn have, you've got to be on your alert all of the time. Any through ball could come in and you can't switch off. It's not like we control possession. You can sit and watch the game. Pretty much 70 minutes of the game, he had to be alert because Blackburn had the ball. The shot that came in, he could have easily just parried out in front of him. He didn't. He got it out to an angle. He was straight up, reacted to the second shot. And every ball that came in, I think Blackburn had a few corners, especially the last 15 minutes, or crosses. He was there. He caught them, put the pressure off us. And to be fair to him, if anything, he's given Darlow something to think about being the number 2. His debut for Newcastle, again, the only thing that was missing was him when the Gallagher were 20,000 fans giving him a round of applause. Unfortunately, that would have made his day a bit more. But yeah, again, if you're Newcastle fan tonight, you've got Dubravka, you've got Darlow, you've got him. I trust all 3 of them now. I've seen him play.
Yeah, for sure. And you've got Freddie Woodman, who's out on loan as well. So good. We've got a lot of good goalkeepers out in there. Obviously, the game finished with Blackburn, of course, on top and on pressure in Newcastle's defence. What a tackle by Jacob Murphy at the end, Sam. In the 94th minute, when Ben Brereton has the ball at his feet about 6 or 7 yards out, thinking he's going to have a shot at goal and probably take it to penalties, and he just comes out of nowhere. He did impress as one of the substitutes, didn't he?
Looked sharp. Looked really sharp. There was an argument for him to have started really over maybe Matt Ritchie, but Ritchie's performance, as I said on Scoring the Players, probably got affected by Longstaff and Barlaser being overrun in midfield. He had to muck in there for most of the game. Murphy, considering we were on the back foot and defending the lead, I thought he did really well, and he probably is now worth keeping around the squad. If we can shift the likes of Atsu and everyone else Bruce mentioned, Yasaives, Aarons, Lazar, Muto, we all know they are the ones that need to leave. Murphy's probably one of them that gives us decent squad depth. Didn't look like he was up to it first time round. Gone away, got his head down, had a really good positive season at Wednesday. Come back full of confidence, had a good pre-season on top of that. Fair play to the lad. He's a Newcastle fan. We all want to see him do well. Same as Mark Gillespie. Gillespie, a couple of months ago, was brought here to do what Liam's doing, sitting there in a dressing gown. He was never supposed to be. He was never supposed to be playing. He was meant to be, John Carell or Tony Craig 2020, wasn't he? But he's solid as well. So it's fantastic to see these players, and it just shows for the first time in a few years we've actually got a bit of depth to the squad now, which is what we drastically needed.
Yeah, for sure. Liam, Morecambe in the next round to finish things off. League Two opposition. We should be beating them, even if it is away from home. Obviously, might be 1,000 fans max at the game as well. Obviously, new EFL rules. Obviously, no away fans, but just Morecambe fans. But even with the team that we played,
I'm sure we're all Morecambe fans, aren't we, for that night? At least that's what we tell security at the gate.
You just have to put your Lancashire accent on all of us, really. But we should get through, Liam. Even with the team that we played today, it should be enough to beat Morecambe.
We should batter them. To be fair, that team, if you look through it, it's got Premier League people that have played in the Premier League for a good couple of seasons. If you think about it, Miggy and Fraser should just be dancing around their players. But it's the whole Joelinton thing. Your team's only as good as the person that can either hold the ball up or run into the channels, because it's pointless trying to hold the ball up and trying to push forward if your striker kind of trap the ball, or if he traps it, then ends up passing to the other team. Do you know what I mean? So I think it all depends on where we played Joelinton. I'm being honest.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's going to be an interesting. I don't think you'll get much minutes against Brighton, so that'll probably be another opportunity for Joelinton to get something.
I've just thought, sorry, Johnny, but do you know what really knocks me about Joelinton?
Come on, then.
What's he done differently to 12 months ago?
Nothing.
What's he learned? What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. He's not learning anything. He's not doing anything differently. He's not a presence. He's not working between the confines of the box. He's not.
You just kind of seem to pass a ball. Even a 5-6 yard pass of the ball seems dead complicated. But then he's probably low on confidence, and probably every time he does look on social media, he's getting absolutely abused by thousands of Newcastle fans. So it's not going to help the situation.
He's a confident player,
but then. Maybe the thing is to send him out on loan, but then you're risking having Andy Carroll, whose leg falls off all the time, and Callum Wilson is the only two strikers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, a point about Carroll is as well that he's an incredible presence around the club and the dressing room. Really popular guy, great crack, life and soul and experience now. Why isn't he working with Joelinton on the training ground? Unless he is, in which case Joelinton's got some even more responsibility to take. Why isn't he going back and looking how Rondon played? Why isn't Bruce coaching him? And I'm assuming this is happening, to be fair, but nothing's changed in 12 months.
I don't think Joelinton was ever going to be a Rondon or a Carroll. He's more of he's a big lad, but I don't think he knows how to chuck his weight about. Because he's not a centre forward at the end of the day. If that's what we're pretty much gonna say, but he was never going to be Rondon. He was never going to hold the ball up and then turn. Do you know what I mean? Especially coming from Hoffenheim on the wings to being the first choice centre half for Newcastle was never going to be an easy job for him. But then it comes down to what, you're saying, what's he doing in training to improve?
Very little. But that's the whole Joelinton argument, isn't it? Really. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Joelinton. Get your comments in below in regards to that argument as well. But Newcastle have won by 1-0. Last question for you, Adam. Who was man of the match today?
Yeah.
Oh. That's who man of the match.
He got very emotional before he went there.
He did.
Maybe it was because Ciaran Clark came back and he was just so happy to see Clark.
Yeah. Sam, I'll give it to you. Who do you think was man of the match today?
Probably Ciaran Clark. Although Almiron was the difference between the two teams going forward. It was great to have Clark back and to play in the back four with the right backs. And to see him look so solid, he was absolutely superb. Probably the difference as to why we won the game, really, to keep Blackburn at bay, because Blackburn should have really got on the score sheet.
Yeah, Adam, I'll ask you again before another. I might leave next time, or Sam might leave. Who was your man of the match tonight?
I was thinking as I cut off, it was Almiron or the keeper, but considering I think how much Blackburn dominated the game. And the couple of saves he did make, I'd have to go for Gillespie. It wasn't a great game for us going forward, so I think I'd struggle to give it to one of the attacking players. I thought Gillespie, I don't think he had a lot to do. Yeah, he made a couple of good saves. His goal wasn't peppered by Blackburn, but it was just a drab game, really. We just got through it in the end. But yeah, I'd give it the keeper on his debut.
Fair enough. That is the group reaction. Newcastle have won by a 0-0. We'll take on Morecambe next week. I think it's either next Wednesday or next Thursday, depending if we're on TV. But we'll have all the reaction to the Brighton game on Sunday. We'll have the last word with Lee. He'll give you all the thoughts from Steve Bruce as well in regards to Newcastle's 1-0 win. And Carl, I think, has got a clip on the game as well. So that'll be all on the last word with Lee. And then we're all back again on Sunday for the game against Brighton. Can Newcastle make it 2 wins out of 2? We'll have the score and the players, the group reaction, and the last word also with Lee. Hopefully, Newcastle could be top of the league by the time we play Brighton. Who knows? Dreams could happen. But it's all manic at Newcastle United and all manic with Newcastle Fans TV with the amount of games. So if you can give this video a like and subscribe to Newcastle Fans TV, that would be greatly appreciated. So for myself, Sam, Adam, and Liam, we'll see you all very, very soon.